Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to discuss, does giving up the small things make you wealthy? So I see a lot of people talking about how giving up their daily latte isn't going to make them rich, or how not going out to eat one time isn't going to make them rich. And obviously I'm not rich. I have debt that I'm working on paying off. I'm working on my financial freedom. However, I'm here to tell you that yes, I believe giving up that daily latte or giving up going out to eat is going to make you wealthy. Here's how, and here's why I think that. Because we live in a society where, to quote Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, don't care how, I want it now. And I like to sing that song when I'm making a bad choice financially, because a lot of times we are like spoiled brats as people because we want something. I see that my friend has a Coach purse. Well, I work just as hard as she does. I want that Coach purse. I want it now. I saw a TV commercial for pizza. I know I have dinner in the oven, but I'm going to order a pizza. Try to say people don't do that, because people do. Or they have a meal already pre-planned and they just, go to McDonald's instead. And none of this is to judge anyone. I'm just saying, we've all been there where we made a decision and it was just snap. Or you make a budget and then you knowingly and intentionally don't follow that budget, and then next thing you know, months have gone by and you're off budget and you haven't been putting any money towards debt or towards retirement or towards saving for that house or whatever it is that you're working towards. And then maybe you got some overdraft fees too because you overextended yourself. So even though I'm not wealthy, I hope to one day be wealthy. And it all comes from behavior modification. So if you're sitting there and you're like, I want to save up for a house, or I want to pay off this student loan, but I really don't have any extra money, check your bank account, set up a budget, look to see what you actually spend your money on. Get a printout of your bank statement. If you don't get one sent to you, which I suggest not doing so that you can save paper, go green, but you could go to the bank and have them print one off for you. You could go on the website and print one off, or if you get them mailed to you, and look through it and get some highlighters and highlight, if you're really into Starbucks, highlight every time you go to Starbucks, or every time you went to a convenience store, or every time you went to fast food, or every time you went shopping for that one item that turned into a $200 shopping trip. Look at that and see, how can I modify this? If I make a meal plan, will that help? If I make sure that I have freezer meals, is that going to help me so that I don't run to McDonald's? I know for myself, if I have something in the crock pot at home, then it lessens the chances that I'm just going to run for fast food, because I am a fast food junkie. I love fast food and I want my fix. And that's something that I'm personally working on. So if I know that I have something ready to go, I'm less likely to go and get something else. So if you're getting a Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks or whatever it is on a daily basis, do the math. Say my latte costs $5. I do this 7 days a week, every day of the month, every day of the year, and see how much that costs. Could you make that latte at home? Could you maybe just get the latte every other day or every couple of days, or maybe just on the weekends? And I'm not saying that lattes are bad. I'm not saying Starbucks is the enemy, or fast food is the enemy. I'm simply saying, if you have a goal and you really feel like you have no extra money to put towards something, you have to look at what you're spending. So that also includes, maybe you're spending way too much on groceries. I have a big pet peeve about, and again, it's other people's money, so you do this, you do what you want, but I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to be involved. But I have a pet peeve because I know lots of people that will go spend $400 on groceries, and that food just sits and rots in their fridge. They don't prep it, they don't freeze it, they just end up going out to eat. So why not just go out to eat in the beginning instead of spending that money on groceries? And if you know that you're terrible about that, like buying groceries and then you just end up going out to eat, well, try to modify that behavior by picking up convenience foods at the grocery store. It's going to be cheaper in the long run just to get yourself a frozen lasagna that you can eat on for a couple of days. Pay that $10 for that pre-made frozen lasagna rather than going to McDonald's for the next week or whatever it is. So you have to pick and choose. Could you make that lasagna at home from scratch for much, much cheaper? Yes. But sometimes for me, I have to have convenience items in the freezer. Like, it's a have to. So that I'm not tempted to go out to eat and spend even more money. Because once I go out, it's like the gateway drug. Once I go out to fast food one time, then I think I can do it the next day and the next day and the next day. Versus if you're like, you know what? I know that I have that frozen lasagna or that frozen pizza in my freezer. I'm going to have that frozen pizza instead. And then the next day, maybe you'll be like, well, I didn't go out to eat, so now I can make something at home and I'm in a better mood. And, it's like sometimes we're looking for an excuse to spend that extra money or to get that extra treat. And treats are important, but if you're treating yourself every single day, then it's not really a treat, it's a lifestyle choice. So that daily Starbucks is not a treat, it's a lifestyle choice to get that daily Starbucks. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to have the money for it. So you need to budget that money, and then you also have to understand, if you do the math and you see how much you're spending on that daily habit, whether it be cigarettes or drinking or your lottery tickets or whatever it might be, do the math and see how much you're spending, and then multiply that by 10 years, 20 years. And this is why I believe if you give up some of these little daily habits, that's the road to financial freedom. Yes, big picture items like not overspending on a car or not buying more house than what you need. You don't need a 5-bedroom house if it's just you and your dog, and realizing that and making conscious decisions. Yes, those are important, but the little habits every day are important too. Going to the less convenient gas station because the gas is 10 cents cheaper. If you're not just driving out of your way. Not going to the store just to go to the store. Not going to the grocery store because you're out of eggs and you don't need anything else. Well, maybe just don't get eggs and just put it on the list and wait till next time. So all these small little things will add up, and then it changes your mindset. Because again, I want it now. Don't care how, I want it now. So when you start doing that, then you become like a child. And right now, a lot of us are like that little kid at the grocery store that's throwing a fit for the candy bar. And the mom's already said, no, you can't have this candy bar today. You have to say no to yourself like you're that little kid at the store. Did you have a treat yesterday and the day before and the day before and the day before? Can you give up some of these little treats? And you have to learn to sacrifice for that big goal. I know for me, my biggest goal is to be a homeowner. I would love to own my own little townhouse and for it to be completely all mine, and that has been my dream since I was a little girl. Like, I always wanted the husband and the babies and the dog, but really for me, the end goal was getting the townhouse. And what you have to do though is you have to realize what your ultimate goal is. I want to be able to go on a fabulous vacation every year. Okay, well, you might have to give up going out to eat, or you might have to say no to the kids because they want a new whatever. And so it's not just saying no to yourself, but it's saying no to others. When you get invited out all the time, you have to tell your friends, like, hey, I can't go out 4 days a week. I could go out with you 1 day a week. And people aren't going to understand, and people might get weird about it, but you have to know what your goals are and build up to it. And that's telling ourselves no and telling the people around us no. And that's being on the same page with your partner and your kids and whoever you live with. Like, you know, you have a perfectly good TV, but your husband wants a new TV, and you need to be like, listen, I thought our goal was to get out of debt. How is buying this new TV going to get us out of debt? It's not. It's going to get us into more debt. Because once you buy that TV, even if you save up the money to buy that TV, then you can start justifying more purchases. Well, now we need a sound system, and now we need the season of whatever, and we need this, and we need that, and you know what I mean? So it all kind of starts to snowball. So I actually don't like when people say, like, giving up that daily latte isn't going to make or break them. Because it will. It really will. Because it's about modifying the behavior, and it's about changing. And it's about realizing what your goals are and making them happen. And making them happen means going without sometimes and saying no and realizing in the scheme of things it's okay. And so treat yourself, but don't make those treats a lifestyle choice to, you know, where you don't have anything. I am a huge Sex and the City fan. And I remember the episode where Carrie broke up with Aiden and couldn't afford her apartment, and she had no assets, but she had $40,000 worth of shoes. Now, I love that show, but I think one day I'm going to have to analyze that episode, because that episode made me mad to no end, because she ended up getting a loan from a friend, which, let's be realistic here, in most people's situations, she would have just had to get a new apartment and spend a ton of money on a new apartment instead of getting the other one. But anyway, that's a whole rant. But don't be like Carrie Bradshaw. Don't have $40,000 worth of shoes and no place to live. She had her Manolos, but no place to live. So you have to think about it like that. Like, you've got the great sound system and the great TV and the great car, but you don't have a retirement plan. Or you're getting calls from creditors every day. Or you don't know how or your kids don't have health insurance and you don't know how they're going to do that. Or you don't have car insurance, or your car is super unreliable, but you've got a Coach purse. And again, none of this is to judge anyone. It's just think about what you want and make it happen. And that is giving up all the little things sometimes for the greater big picture. So sorry this video was a little ranty and a little chatty, but it's like I'm really passionate about it because I see that all the time. People are talking a lot about frugality right now because of the coronavirus. And I'm excited that people are talking about frugality, people that never talked about it before. I'm not excited for how it went down. I wish that terrible things wouldn't need to happen for people to think about money. And again, I'm going to do a whole video on that alone, like just frugality and how you shouldn't wait until there's a crisis. But I see people say that all the time, like giving up the little things is not going to make a difference, or it's not going to make you rich. And I believe that it can. I believe that it can. So thank you guys so much for watching today. Please consider subscribing. Check me out on Instagram. And until next time, guys, bye.